What's going on, guys? It is Tom and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new career mode episode for round number 9 of the season here for career mode for the Austrian Grand Prix. As you can see, we're currently here in practice. This time no R&D cutscenes or anything, so I'm going to focus just briefly on how we're currently sitting as a team in the pecking order in the R&D tree. As you can see in the bottom right corner of your screen, Ferrari are actually the best team on the grid, beating Mercedes, hence why they've been so good this season. So I'm expecting Mercedes to sort of overturn it a bit and eventually catch up, as it did win the last race in Baku. But as you can see, Red Bull sort of in no man's land in third place there, and then Force India, Williams, Renault are all pretty close here in the pecking order. Also Toro Rosso and Haas as well, and then there's another gap to McLaren and Sauber. But we're pretty much in a solid mid-pack. The target is to obviously overtake Williams and also try and catch Red Bull by the end of the season. That would be pretty nice. Recently we have done a lot of upgrades in terms of our actual aerodynamics department and staff, not necessarily the actual car upgrades themselves. So hopefully that will improve the efficiency and also the speed, and also that hopefully improve the cost of creating said parts for the car in the future. But for now, we're going to be seeing what we've got and trying to put some R&D points away in this race weekend. And this race weekend actually running with a pretty old engine, and a few of the parts are pretty worn. The ICE almost on 60% around here, and I'm struggling on that part, so that might be one I have to replace after this race. But other than that, it's looking pretty good, and I'm looking to put some aero upgrades on pretty soon. I want to try and be competitive for tracks around Spa and Monza. So if we've got a bit more aero on the car, then I can afford to run lower wings and therefore really use the straight line speed that this Force India has in store. So as you can see, we're currently here in Austria, a track that does sort of suit the car a little bit better than the last one in Baku, believe it or not, because in Baku we had an absolute shocker and the car really didn't work around there. I don't know why. It's not like the engine was old or anything, I just had an absolute shocker of a race weekend. But as you can see, we're kind of going through the practice programs here and doing a pretty good job of it so far. Getting a green though in the track acclimatization, which was an odd one, which doesn't tend to happen too much, but it's one of the weird tracks where the gates are green and purple whenever they feel like it, no matter what speed or what angle you cross them at. So as you can see, we're kind of doing a pretty good job though, getting some pretty good points underneath us, and we are going to wrap things up with the race strategy, which is the final part of the R&D test. And in this we are going to get a purple score, hitting 3 very good, nice and consistent lap times. And even though the pace isn't extraordinary, I feel much more confident around here than I did compared to Baku, and the feeling I've got with the car is much better. And we're going to see if that is true as we now jump into qualifying. Now I've noticed recently that AI do improve their lap times literally within the last 5 seconds of every session. So I decided to leave this one nice and late and put that theory to the test, because it's only when you sim it in the garage that they basically go really fast, and hence why I drop really far down the grid. So we're going to test that theory now, and I'm going to basically run this lap as the clock drops and see if we can try and put this theory to the test, and hopefully we can try and outsmart the AI and outfox them. So as long as I'm on track and I can see what's happening, then they shouldn't do a stupid lap time right in the last 5 seconds of the session and I can't do nothing about it. So as you can see, we're kind of doing a pretty good job so far, hitting a pretty good first sector, only a couple of tenths shy of Lewis Hamilton. As we now go into turn number 5, I believe this is now, turn number 4, we're getting a pretty good run through there, nice clean exit. And now through the kink of turn 5 that feeds into turn 6, obviously modified corner names as the former turn 2 is now turn 3, because the kink before is classed as a corner now. But so far pretty good here through the second sector, pretty much on Lewis's lap time. Actually pretty impressed, actually the car working very nicely, and this is actually a pretty competitive lap time as we now go into the final 2 corners here, trying to really throw the car in there, getting a nice bit of apex action, probably a little bit too conservative, just losing a little bit too much speed on entry in the penultimate corner there, but then a good run out the final corner to run out to the line, and it's going to be a good enough lap for P11 I believe. And that was a successful Q1 session, and leaving it late was definitely a good theory, and it worked out and paid off for Q1 there. So as you can see, we're going to qualify in 11th place ahead of Esteban Ocon there, with a pretty good lap time there of a 1:07.8 from what I can see on my little screen. So not too bad there, and just over a second off the pace from the leaders, so not too bad for Q1 there. But now I'm going to jump into my best lap in Q2 here, and we're going to go not for the same theory. This time I'm going to put the AI to the test and test my theory out to see if it's true. So I've gone out earlier in the session, and this was actually my best lap in the session anyway. So we've gone out earlier, and we're going to run the clock down and see what happens. We're going to try and push this lap and see if we can find any sort of time compared to the Q1 lap. So into turn 3, you can almost break on the 50-meter board in this game. That's very, very ballsy. Maybe in a Mercedes or a Ferrari, but in this car, probably just bang on in between the 100 and the 50 for turn 3 there. Second gear corner, critical to get some clean traction on the exit. And now down into turn number 4, third gear corner here. Take it very easy on entry and then try to get the power on as early as you dare, avoiding the curb on the left hand side if possible. And now into turn number 6 here. As you can see, a very, very interesting corner here. You've got to really try and push the car, use all of the curb at your disposal here, and a very nice run through that sequence of corners there. And they've only got 2 more to negotiate now to end this lap, and so far we're looking on course for a pretty good lap here as Vettel goes fastest now into the penultimate corner, really throwing it in there this time, really maximising the speed just outside of the track limits, and once again just outside through the final corner. But it's a really good, fast, competitive lap here, nice and clean as well, and we come across the line in P3. Very good lap time there, and I was very happy with the lap, beating the likes of Verstappen there. However, I put the theory to the test and I simmed the rest of the session, and I dropped down to P13 and Ocon got P8. Now I don't know what's going on there. Obviously the AI have improved their lap times compared to Q1, but still it's very dodgy. I couldn't really improve that lap. I was better on the Q1 lap though, so that's not too bad. But other than that, that was the story of qualifying for Austria, and we're now going to move into the race for round 9 of the season for the Austrian Grand Prix. Right, so here we are then for Austria for round 9 of the season for the race, and I'm very much looking forward to this one, and hopefully we can try and do a better job than we did in Baku last time out. In terms of the race strategy, as you can see, we're looking at a simple one stop, as there are intermediate conditions predicted throughout the entirety of the race. Also, I've put a little bit more fuel in the car just in case if I want to use Richie Mix at any time during the race. But overall, it's going to be a fairly simple, straightforward race unless there's like a major strategy change or a weather change. So overall, the one stop's going to be the way to go. The goal of this race is simple. I want to try and get the points and then also try and beat my teammate. So he's 3 rows ahead of me, so let's try and see what we can do. He had a really good qualifying, so hopefully we can try and catch him and beat him here today, because he absolutely crushed me in the last race in Baku. So without further ado, let's jump straight into round 9 of the season for the Austrian Grand Prix. Right, here we go then. 5 red lights for the Austrian Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. Let's have a good start here. Pretty good launch off the line actually. Going through the gears, really nice first and second phase of the start here. We're looking pretty good at the moment as we go into turn 1. Let's try and spot a gap to maybe make some moves as we go around the outside of Grosjean here. Can we make it work? Oh, it's very close, side by side action here. I think we're going 3 wide. No, actually no we're not, because there's no one on the inside luckily, but we're going to basically take our position. It's not Grosjean, it's actually Magnussen. So here we go into turn 3 for the first time this race. We're basically doing what Magnussen's doing, and it's actually worked out quite nicely. We've got Ocon on the outside there. I'm going to try and short shift my way out of this, try and outpower both of these guys. And oh wow, some great traction out there. Ocon's going to squeeze me onto the grass, but here we go. Nice run on my teammate, and we've got Magnussen coming back at us here. I'm going to go up the inside of Ocon. Can I make it work? I'm going in a little bit hot. Ocon's going to switch back underneath me, but he can't make it work, and I'm up into P9. So a really good start here to the Austrian Grand Prix, and overall it's a very good opening lap thus far. Bottas dropping down to P8 there in one of the Mercedes cars, so he's had an absolute shocker here on the opening lap of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll in a very good P7 there for Williams. Okay, so Bottas has got past Stroll now. He got past him last lap. Stroll's dropping back a little bit here. I think the Williams obviously not suited to these conditions particularly well, and I think Massa's holding up both for the Red Bulls and Bottas there up ahead. So the Williams car's going backwards here. I'm doing a pretty good job. I've got some good pace early on here. I like my chances. The car feels good in these conditions, and I do fancy my chances compared to the dry conditions around here. So right now, let's try and catch Lance here. Right, into the hairpin. Let's try and have a good exit now. I'm pretty good on the traction out of here compared to the AI. So if we have a nice clean exit, which we have done, we're going to be right on the back of Stroll here. He's going to pull away a little bit in the initial phase, but oh wait, he's actually pulling away quite a bit. That Williams is still very fast in a straight line. That's completely took me by surprise. So Stroll's going to stay ahead. Meanwhile, Bottas is progressing. He's made a move on one of the Red Bulls. So Bottas must have some good pace around here. He's making his way through the field. Meanwhile, just starting to get alright, okay, so there you go. The heavy rain is going to ease up into light rain very soon. If it's heavy rain, I'm surprised we're not on full wets to be honest, but this rain is going to get a little bit lighter later on, which is good, so that's going to make the conditions a little bit quicker, so that might suit me or might suit the AI, we don't know, but right now I'm getting frustrated behind Stroll here. Okay, we've got a yellow flag up ahead, maybe one of the leaders or a lap car. I know Hulkenberg's got issues with his car, so maybe it's Nico Hulkenberg, but we're going to just navigate it. It's actually Marcus Ericsson who's got an issue, so maybe a puncture or something, I don't know, but that's got us right on the back of these guys now, so we've got a chance here to maybe catch back up to them, maybe make a move on Stroll possibly. Okay, we've got another yellow flag for some reason, so something's happening into turn 1, and Massa's out of the race. So Felipe Massa, who was leading this little train of cars, he's now out of the race, so that's going to promote us into another position here, but that is heartbreak for the Brazilian, who's running really well, I believe in like P4, so that's gutting for him, but we're going to gain a place from it, so that's pretty good for us. However, it's going to release the 2 Red Bulls and the Mercedes cars, so right now, we're only going to have Stroll for company, I think. Right, personal best there, 19.5, pretty damn good lap there actually, finding a little bit of pace, and catching back up to Stroll now after I've dropped behind for a little bit, and I'm now pulling away from Ocon, so maybe the chase for Stroll is back on. Right, at the final corner this time, I'm getting pretty close to Lance Stroll here, pretty much matching my personal best, and I'm going to try and size him up for a move as we go into turn 1. We're going to have a nice run through there. I think our turn 3 could be a possibility. Do I get some good traction? Nothing spectacular. I'm going to use the rich mix to try and gain on him a little bit. My engine's starting to get a little bit worn now. 3 components in the yellow, so we are starting to struggle. But here we go then. Push this brake down a little bit. Let's see if we can gain any time on Lance and then pick up the traction out of here. Be nice and aggressive with it, but at the same time try and caress the throttle. And we are close, but I don't think we're close enough. That Williams is very fast in the straight line, and we're going to struggle to get past it, I think, which is slightly frustrating, I'm not going to lie, but here we go, a little bit hot into there. Maybe next lap, I think next lap might be the one. Okay, I've kept in rich mix. I've had a great exit out the final corner. This is earlier than I expected. We are right at the slipstream of Stroll, but look at that, he's actually pulling away from us. Unbelievable. So a Williams pulling away from a Force India around a power circuit when we've got the same power units. It just goes to show probably a difference in the aero that we're running. So Stroll, wow, I'm a bit shocked by that, to be honest, because that's going to make our overtaking a lot more harder than I expected. So we're going to have to go for it. Stroll's locked up, I think. Stroll's just locked up on the right front, I just saw. So that's just opened the gap. He's made a mistake under pressure, and this is my chance. Alright, let's try and see if we can match him. Look at the speed of the Williams car. Oh my god. Right, on the brakes. Time to be brave, boys. Got to be very brave. Pick up the apex. Don't let him switch back on us. Try and hold the inside. Don't let him hold the outside. There we go. Right, now we're finally past Lance Stroll. And it sounds like the lap range is 10 minutes away. So the range is going to get easier, which means the lap times will go faster. So that is fine by me. But right now, unless something happens, this is probably going to be our highest position this race. Best of the rest, basically. So let's try and pull away from Stroll now and focus on the conditions and then transition over to another intermediate tyre when necessary. But I can see a yellow flag on the minimap back by turn 4, so maybe something's happened back there. We'll see if anything gets triggered from it, but right now it looks like nothing's happening. Oh yeah, no mind, okay, Verline's out of the race, so maybe something is going to happen or something has happened. So let's wait to see if that triggers a safety car or a virtual safety car. I don't think it is. He might have just pulled over to the side safely, and I think that's what he's done because nothing's getting called out. So there you go. Right, let's continue on. Personal best 19.0. Vettel just done the fastest up of the race with an 18.3, so my pace is pretty good around here. I'm quite impressed, and I'm in rich mix, but I'm going to use it wisely, so I feel like I've got the pace at the moment, so I want to try and use this rich mixture up while these conditions are currently suiting my car rather than nicely, because I think it's going to be hard, but we might have a chance of maybe keeping up with Verstappen. I'm actually catching the Red Bulls here, and matching my personal bests in rich mix, so the longer I've got this rich mix, the better, I've really better try and use it wisely because I'm running out of it. I'm going to run out this lap, so I might as well use all of it. Right now my engine is pretty warm, my ICE on 63%, so we might be struggling in the race with some possible issues, but for now I don't really care because I can smell a few extra points and I want to try and get them after that horrible last race. Right, here we go then into the pit lane, coming in for my first stop of the race. So we're going to push this pit entry nicely. Looks like we're going to be joining Verstappen in the pit lane, or no, we're going to be joining Ricciardo, I think. So one of the Red Bulls will be staying in, the other one will be coming out. Sorry, the other way around. The other one will be staying out, the other one will be coming in. So, right, here we go. On to another set of intermediates. This is going to be the plan strategy. We couldn't just hold Ricciardo up there, unfortunately. So we're going to come in, switch over to another set of inters, and get on our way. So there we go, 2.7. Decent little pit stop there. And now let's see where we rejoin. Ricciardo's going to come out in a bit of traffic, which is good news for me. So, let's try and get on our way. I forgot to release the pit limiter again, but we're going to come out behind Carlos Sainz by the look of it. So now let's get our foot down and try and see what our pace is like on these fresh inters, and can we possibly catch the Red Bulls, which is going to be a big task. Okay, so the rest of the guys that have not pitted are now coming in for their pit stop, so that's going to promote me back into where I was position wise before the pit stop phase, so back up into P7. And yeah, now basically, as far as I'm concerned, if we can just bring this car to the end, then I'll be happy. But there's Verstappen. He's lost a bit of time to me, but not a major amount. But preferably, I need the Red Bulls to get into a bit of a battle. If the Red Bulls do battle, then I've got a chance. If not, then the gap's going to stay as it is. This is frustrating, but I guess it's just the way it is. But I mean, my best laps, all I'm doing is matching the Red Bulls. Like, it's just frustrating. It really is. But I'm going to need something else to happen in order for me to get any higher up the grid in terms of positions this race. I'm pulling away from the guys behind, no problem, but in terms of what's in front of me, I need something to happen, otherwise P7 is going to be my finishing position this race. Interestingly enough, I remember Lee Mather saying that the weather's now unpredictable in this game and it's completely different, and I've got to say, even though the track is bone dry, like it's still soaking wet, I do feel like it's drying. On the radio it says 20 minutes of light rain. However, I remember in the last time we had these mixed conditions, I was on dry tyres when it was still raining on track, which is something you never saw in F1 2016. So maybe we could be on dry sooner than I think. I mean, they came on the radio a few minutes ago saying they still think we're on the right compound on the inters, but we're not a million miles away from sticks. So I don't know. I feel like I might get offered the option to switch over to sticks earlier than what we think. Right now, obviously the track is wet, but I can notice it drying quite a lot. Right, well, I think officially this is going to be our finishing position pretty much. I mean, Verstappen and the other Red Bull, Ricciardo, they're just too consistent. I can do a few good laps here and there, but they're just too bulletproof and they're just a little bit too quick for me. My best lap equals their average lap, so it's always going to be an uphill struggle. Meanwhile, Ocon is in P8, so it looks like a very solid double points finish for Force India here today, but nothing more than that. So 10 minutes until the rain dries up. There's only 7 laps left, so it's going to be right on cue at the end of the race, basically, because we're doing like 1 minute 18 lap time. So if the game does make you go on dries early, then we could be on dries maybe for the last 2 laps, maybe. I mean, I'm clutching at straws here, but that might be an opening for me, especially if the AI stay on inters. So I guess we'll see, but I'm not really getting my hopes up about this one. The track is definitely starting to get faster. It's drying up, and that lap I actually went a little bit faster than Verstappen. So, have we got anything left in this race? Wait, what? Raikkonen? Oh, Raikkonen's out of the race. Raikkonen's out. I got no message on the top of my screen. I must have like zoned out and not seen it. But Raikkonen's out of the Austrian Grand Prix. Mr. OP himself has retired from the race. So that's going to promote me up to 6th place for an extra position, which is very, very welcome. And wow, the championship leader out of the Austrian Grand Prix. I think Vettel is leading the race, so he's going to inherit the championship lead, I think. Right, so Sebastian Vettel has won the Austrian Grand Prix, and Lewis Hamilton has finished in P2. And crucially, I think it's looking like a double podium for Mercedes in the championship, so they're going to be getting a few points on Ferrari this race after Kimi's retirement. But crucially, I'm going to come home in P6 and Ocon's going to come home in P7, and it's a double points finish for Force India, and that is a fantastic result for the whole team, and that is a really, really solid haul of points there to bring back to the factory, and a really good result for me after the shocking last race in Baku where I really had some issues. I mean, I was struggling this race with a few graphical issues, but wow, I still managed to power through, get P6, and that was a much better one. I had a much better pace in Baku there. I am working on improving my CPU, and also I'm also in talks of possibly trying to improve my internet, but unfortunately cannot give any sort of time scale or time frame on that. So I'm going to have to power through with what I've got for now, and hopefully the upgrades and the improvements to my equipment will come down the line. But for now, as you can see, it's still pretty good, still pretty decent, and the race overall was pretty damn good. But as you can see, there is the final podium with Vettel on the top step for the Scuderia, but then 2 Mercedes cars at either side of him. So I think Merck will be happy with that result, considering Ferrari are actually the fastest team now in Formula 1. They are the fastest team on the grid, as I showed you in practice on the little R&D graph. So I guess that makes sense that Ferrari win the races because they are the fastest team. But overall, that was Austria, and we're now going to move into the drivers and constructors standings. And as you can see, looking at the final race results, it's Sebastian Vettel who wins it ahead of both Mercedes cars, and then both of the Red Bulls swiftly follow in 4th and 5th, and then both of the full seniors, myself and Ocon, 6th and 7th, bringing home a solid points haul for the Pink Panthers, and that is a very solid amount of points for us. And crucially, if we scroll down to the bottom, Kimi Raikkonen out of the race, big one there for the championship, and that's going to really sort of swing it back in Vettel and Hamilton's favour, which we'll see right now. I guess we'll have to look at the driver standings here because I just pressed advance by accident instead of standings. But as you can see, looking at driver standings, Vettel now leads the way by 16 points over his teammate. And Lewis Hamilton is slowly starting to catch these guys. You know, he's within 2 race victories, so he is still thereabouts. But me and Ocon in 7th and 8th, and solidly doing the best of the rest position there. And finally looking at the constructors, you can see that we're comfortably in P4 and the 4th best team on the grid. So pretty much replicating what Full Senior are doing in real life. So I guess 105 difficulty is about right, because we're doing what Full Senior were doing in real life. But other than that, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed this episode of Career Mode. And if you have, then please do smash the like button. Let's see if we can try and smash 300 likes on this video. Also, subscribe to my channel if you're new around here, and also check out these videos on screen if you haven't done so already. But I thank you guys ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.